Hey, what's up, guys? It's Maniek, and I'm hanging out with Kelly X on their show. I see you guys soon.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, Steve McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Luddy.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous?
Joining us on the show is a very talented dancer and choreographer who has been doing so many amazing things for so many years, dancing with Jennifer Lopez, Taylor Swift, Tate McRae, Money Long, Ricky Martin, the list goes on, and of course, Janet Jackson. And we're going to talk to him all about that. MANIEK Kotarski, thanks so much for hanging out with us on the Kelly Alexander Show.
Hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me, Kelly. Pleasure to be with you.
Great. Well, I'm super excited. I've been harassing you for months, and I'm glad we finally got you on the show. And so I always like to start at the beginning. So, where did you grow up, and when did dance become like a part of your life?
All right. So I gotta take you guys to Europe, to Poland. My city, my hometown, it called Łódź, which means boat town. It's right in the central of Poland. It's not a big city. And it wasn't that much of dancing, but in 1997, my cousin, she used to be a dancer, a part of a group of it was like we used to have teams like neighborhood teams, and we would just train, and they would go having shows, just like local shows or like compete. So yeah, in 1997, she was with my sister and my mom. They were like, something is coming up. There's a little event, dance competition, and they're looking for new people. And my parents were like, you got to do something. You can't just stay at home and do nothing. So they pushed me that way, and then we create little solo, and then I compete, and I didn't win, but I got to see the person that was dancing b-boying, break dancing, and then I just fell in love with that, and I was like, okay, I want to do this. So yeah, it was 1997, the time when I fell in love with dance, and I was growing up in Poland. That's it.
How old were you in 1997, Maniac?
I was 7 years old.
You were seven. Okay, that's amazing. So, can you tell us what music you got into when you were over in Poland at that young age? Like, did hip hop speak to you the most, or were there pop stars that you started listening to?
Okay, so Poland back in the days in 90s and early 2000 had a lot of influence from US, and we would have music videos and MTV that would play those music videos from United States. So already my older friends back then would just learn from them, learn from TV, and then teach the other dancers. So for us, it was part of the country when hip hop was growing up, and it was already there, kind of. So for us, music will be hip hop, and like I remember even back in the days, I would listen to Cypress Hill and Wu-Tang Clan, with my homies as a kid. But also, like, if you be a part of the company, you would have to dance to Britney Spears and other stuff, and then also Janet Jackson will be introduced and Michael Jackson. So all those music will be introduced to us as a kid. So, we would dance to it more than to Polish music, actually, because Polish music at that time wasn't something that you want to dance to. So, yeah, we will be introduced to all this American music, back in the days.
Do you remember what age you were when you first heard Janet music?
Well, I come. No, it has to be like around when I was 10 years old. Because I remember the older team from like our company, they would have to learn the rhythm nation and showcase that. So I remember listening to that, the rhythm nation. It was the music that I think I would hear first from Janet. But yeah, I had to be around 10 years old because I wasn't a part of the older. I was still young, but I remember seeing that. So I was like, wow, cool. And then probably when I was like 14, I would start watching by myself music videos and concerts. Because it was also the time when I got my first computer and internet, and I was 14 years old back then. So it was just like with small steps, just getting knowledge from everywhere.
When you were like a teenager, which artists did you love the most? Like, was they mainly American artists, or did you have like some Polish influences as well?
Yeah, there was few Polish artists, hip hop artists, and then we had a little bit of it. So I remember Wu-Tang Clan and Cypress Hill was a big part of our hip hop, you know, growing up child part. As a kid, it would be just natural to listen to those two because our older friends will listen to that too. So yeah, I remember those two. I was very much as a hip hop kid and like dancing, b-boying mostly. But then yeah, as a company, you would have to be a part of everything, so you would dance other stuff as well.
What other genre do you find the most challenging to learn? Like, is it jazz? Is it tap? Is it, I don't know, like what was the most challenging for you to pick up?
I think it was that's difficult. Because I'm kind of that person that I'm just falling in love with a lot of stuff, and especially when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, let me try this and let me try that and let me try be more funky, and then going through all the street dances. But the most difficult it was modern jazz, I think, and not even contemporary, but more like dancing with person, with partnering stuff. So like that kind of stuff is more difficult for me. And then I remember learning that stuff. It was always like a little bit awkward, and I used to be a very quiet kid. So talk to somebody and then be a partner with somebody would be very difficult for me.
Now, when did you decide that you wanted to take your dancing further? Like you wanted to make this a career, and were your parents supportive of that?
I was around. It was kind of natural when I left that company as a kid. I was only 14, and then at that point in Poland, there was a choreographer coming up from I think from UK, and he was doing a TV show and he was doing a workshops tour. So I was lucky to be a part of that, and then went to the audition, and then with my older friends as well, who was a part of used to be at that company that I used to dance with. As a crew, we kind of left that place and then just start looking for new knowledge. And then that little TV show came up to Poland. It was the first TV show including dancing. So it was very new for all of us, and we didn't know what we're doing and how it's gonna be. But that little thing for me was like a little spark that I'm like, hmm, maybe this can be something bigger actually, and then maybe this can take a little bit more than I was thinking. And when I was 16, I already met people, which was a next company, and I was a part of the next agency and company in Poland as well. And those people were like, let's go to LA. So I went to LA when I was 16, and I was like, whoa, this is insane. This is different. This is everything is just incredible. So with that moment, I also fell in love with the plays and fell in love with the dancers and the dance scene. And then I went back to Poland after like being, I think the first trip was 4 or 5 weeks. And then after that, I went back to Poland. I was like, I want to come back. I want to definitely come back because it feels like I can do more. And even if I'm not gonna make it, I can try. So yeah, for me, it was also like a proving point because in Poland, not like as a culture, not many people was treating dance seriously and like as a real thing. So for me, was that point to kind of prove that you can do a little bit more, and then yeah. So it was just everything was just like a whole thing coming together, and at some point I just started doing it, and I was so locked in that I was like, whoa, this is real life now. This is what I'm doing now, and I want to keep doing it.
So, did you already speak English, or did you learn it when you came over to Los Angeles?
We have in school in like middle school and then high school. So you have to learn something, to pass. But at the same time, the education system back then it wasn't the best with languages. But you have to learn English, and you naturally you have English in class, and then in high school you have to pick another language. And I picked German because my sister would speak that language very well, and then she used to live in Switzerland. So my mom was like, "Well, if you're gonna pick that language, she can help you with homework, and then it's gonna be just easier." And I was like, "Well, why not? I can focus more on dance." So I picked that language, but after years, I was like, I should have picked French because French is a beautiful language, and I used to live in France for a little bit. So I was like, I should have picked French. But yeah, English, you're learning when you arriving to place, and then you live with people and you have roommates from all over different places, and you work. So then you travel, you teach, and you just start talking.
That's true. Now, when you came to Los Angeles, how were you even able to do that? Because did you need like some sort of like I know if like I moved from Canada to the US,
Yeah.
like I would need all kind of paperwork. Like was this hard for you to be able to come work in the US?
Yeah, that stuff is pretty stressful for me. And like visa stuff and all the process and getting papers and documents from lawyer, and you're like, I don't know, what does it mean? But I had a friend, and the friends will help me, a bunch of friends will help me, and the process was taking forever, to be honest, because my first traveling back and forth was like for 10 years on like tourist visa, and then after 10 years I was like, okay, let me get my working visa and let me move. So it was like 2018 at that point. So I was already like 28 years old when I decided to move to LA. So you know after so many years, you just you somehow learning those stuffs, and then becoming less stressful that it used to be. But it's still a little bit stressful for me. I'm just that type of person that I hate documents. And I'm like paralyzed. I don't know what to do, what to say, and how to read at that point. But yeah, I had a lot of friends who would help me, and I'll be patient with it.
Okay. That's amazing. Yeah, because I know it's very hard and it's not easy. And so the fact that you did that is amazing just in and of itself, that you had the determination to get that done. And so talk to us about what big break you think got you to your next level, like where you were really starting to make noise. Like was it a certain artist you started dancing for, or was it a choreographer you met? Like what was your big break?
Um, I think it was around 2018, 19 with the first visa. When I was lucky to assist Luther Brown and helping with some of the steps for a residency for Vegas for Janet. So I was invited to rehearsal to help, and at that rehearsal, Gil saw me, and Gil was like, "You here?" I was like, "Yeah, I got my visa." And he was like, "Okay, cool." And then after all that one day, everything just started slowly coming together. And then I got a call from Jerry Slaughter for Christina Aguilera, and then I booked that. And then with every each month was coming a little bit more. And I was trying to work on trust and do my best work to be hired back again. Um, but yeah, I would say 2018, 19 was like a big a big point for me to kind of become something a little bit bigger, I guess, if we can say that. But yeah, I just felt better, and I felt like potential is growing, and then I can just meet that and achieve that, and then there's so much more we don't know what's coming. So I was just open for everything was coming. But 2019, 18 was a big point and was a good year, and then 2020 was Super Bowl with J Lo. So it was just good 2 years, 3 years of work, and that will kind of put me outside, I think, and people will be like, oh yeah, He's here.
Can
He's
you
doing
talk just
stuff.
a little bit about what it was like to go through pandemic for you? Because and like because I interview a lot of musicians and artists and dancers and I think obviously concerts got shut down for a
Hmm.
large part of the beginning stages of pandemic. So what was it like for you? Did you go back to Poland? Did you stay in LA? Like was there any work for you because there wasn't anything going on? So
Well, this part, it was crazy, and lucky I was ready for that craziness somehow, because 2020 after Super Bowl, I went straight to my camp, like training program back in Poland, and it was day after. So technically, I left from Miami to Warsaw, and then the camp was going in Warsaw, I guess. And then we were running for like 3 days with my ex-partner. We used to run that together. And then I was teaching on the fourth day, I guess, but my body was still exhausted from Super Bowl, and I turned my meniscus during class. So with that thing, I had to get surgery, and I got surgery for like beginning of March, but at the same time, it kind of locked me already in Poland for like another month that to heal and to cure. And at the same time, the whole world announced COVID and announced that you can't fly. So I was like, wait, but everything I have is in LA. Like my whole room, my whole stuff, everything is in LA. So I couldn't go back, and I still had like a few months of my working visa, which expired, and I was in Poland. My old stuff was in LA, and I couldn't do nothing. So I was just trying to stay, focus on my knee and coming back to health and thinking that it's on purpose. It's somehow, your life is giving you time to heal. So I was with that, and then at that point, I was still with my ex-partner back in the days, and we used to live together. So you know, she decided to create the website, like online teaching, and we started doing that. But at the same time, back in the days, we already had company in Poland. So we will run the company a little bit differently. And Poland is the country that if you can't make it happen something, you will find the way. So we'll find the way to make it happen. And then for us, lockdown was for only 2.5 months, 3 months. After 3 months, we start teaching classes and workshops, and people would start coming. So we got back kind of to normal, different normal, but we were able to kind of work and educate and teach and focus on teaching and spreading knowledge and yeah, focus on the new generation, so for me, pandemic was at first kind of shocking, then it was kind of slow, and then we got back to kind of normal, but it wasn't terrible. It was at first crazy. Yeah, but I stayed in Poland for like 2 years, and then yeah, I couldn't go back. I had to, like, my visa expired, so I had to think how to do it again. Saved up money and do a bunch of stuff. So it was a process. But 2 years after, I got my visa again and then moved back to LA again.
So now I have to ask you, I know we talked a little bit about you working with Luther and with Janet in the residency. Let's go back to like when did you first meet Janet and what was that experience like for you?
Woohoo. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I haven't met her back then
Okay.
when I was assisting, because she was I think she was somewhere in the room or resting or something. But I've met her first time in Kentucky when we were doing first show in 2022. Um, and it was my first show with them, with the team, with her. So I remember coming to rehearsal. It was like early rehearsal, 9 or 8 a.m., I think, 8 a.m. And then it was a big gym room, like a huge room, and then she was there and she was stretching, and I came up to her and I was like, "Hi." I introduced myself and then just give a little hug and then start stretching and doing what I have to do, you know. So I was not afraid, but I was very shy. And it's I don't know, it's hard to, you know, find the right reaction when you meet person like that. So it was a little bit stressful, but at the same time exciting, you know. But she was lovely right away, you know, and she was incredible right away. And then it was just a very nice moment, you know, a very nice moment.
When
But
you
2020 Kentucky.
220, so that was a when she, yeah, so that was right around the Kentucky Derby, right? That was that big event that was going
Yes,
on
I
there, I
think
think.
Derby was the first show. The Derby was the first show that I did it. I
Amazing.
joined the team.
And can you tell us, so how did you join the team? Like, how did that all happen?
Gil called me. I was in Poland and I was doing driving license. So I was going to class and I was about to leave apartment and I see like it was 8 a.m. in the morning and then I see Gil is calling me FaceTime and I was like, wow. So I answered and he was like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" I was like, "Oh, I'm good. Okay, it's in the morning, like early morning, and I'm about to leave my place, but I'm good. I'm good." And then he was like, "Okay, so I was thinking about it, and we would like you to join our team and if you still want to move to LA and then you know if you want to do your visa." And I was like, yes, 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 yes. I was like, let me handle it ASAP and yes, let me come back to LA and join you guys. So there was this one call and I was like, wow,
That's amazing. Now, at that
crazy.
point, did you know any Janet choreography, or did you have a lot of work in front of you?
I had a lot of work in front of me. So when I went to 2022 in April, Guido had to teach everything. So we had a full week to learn as much as we can. Like I think we had 6 days. I think it was 6 days to learn as much as we can. I can't remember how much we end up learning, but I believe it was around 20 songs. And then we had another week, which was already with Raphael and Denzel. So it was already four of us, and then I had to learn more, and then learn more, and then just learn, keep learning and keep learning and keep learning. And then we will go to Kentucky and then we will have rehearsals over there. And then I would just keep learning everything. And then we would have the first show. So it was, I think the whole process might be like 2 weeks to learn everything. And I think at that point, I think we would do over 20 something 20 something songs and then, you know, as you join the team, there's more to learn and there's more and more and more. Legacy is insane. So it's just like, wow.
Did,
Okay, there's always something to learn.
did you and Dario join Janet at the same time, or were you the new one? Like in
I was the new one, and Dario joined the team a little bit later,
Okay.
but not much later. It was just we would do 2022 till the end of the year with few shows starting in May from Derby till New Eve show in Vegas, and then the tour was coming in 2023. So Dario would join us then. Yeah, so it was just like a couple months after.
And what was it like learning, let's say, choreography like Rhythm Nation, or if that was done, so many years ago and it's legendary choreography? What was that like for you?
Well, it's difficult to be honest, because the movement is different now these days, and the music is different these days. You know, and the way you teach, the way you dance, everything that you've been learning is just a mix of everything. So when it comes to go back and then dance with the technique, because it's a lot of technique and you gotta have a background to understand how that movement works. So with that, you kind of have to rebuild your body and rebuild like the way you think and the way you listen, and start building new habits, you know. So at first it's very difficult for your brain and your body, but when it locks in, it feels incredible, and then you can do it over and over again. It's still hard, and sometimes can trick you, and then you can have a little mistake, or you know your body will go somewhere else that was supposed to. But it feels great because it feels that you're growing with it, you know, and it grows on you, and you grow with that with it. So it just feels amazing, you know, and not many jobs has that, you know, not many artists has that legacy with dance that it feels that way. And then 30 years later, we doing those steps, and it still feels amazing, you know.
When you were back in Poland and even let's say hearing Janet for the first time or like, several times as you were a teenager, did you in your mind ever want to dance for her? Like was that ever in your brain like, "Oh, I wish."
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. When I was 14, I would have a tape. Like it was the CD with concerts, with like Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson, Aaliyah, MC Hammer, Justin Timberlake, Busta Rhymes, Missy Elliott. So I would just have a bunch of shows, Britney Spears as well, Christina Aguilera. So I would just have a bunch of videos that I would keep watching over and over again. And I was like, one day maybe, I don't know, but one day. And I was just learning stuff from those shows and then from the concerts, you know. But yeah, it wasn't real. It didn't feel like, yeah, I'm gonna make this happen. It wasn't like that. It was just, a small innocent dream of a little kid that was like, maybe, I don't know, I'm from Poland. So, going to States so far, like I have no clue how to do that, you know? So, but it was a little spark and hope that maybe one day, you know, you never know.
So was that in your brain or maybe in your consciousness when you met Janet? Because it was almost like all that stuff as a kid, and then here you are, and here she is, and you're about to start dancing with her.
Yes and no. Yes, felt insane that moment when I met her after that things, like after so many years of like thinking that it maybe is gonna happen. But at the same time, I was trying to work on it somehow. I was like, I have to be with the right people. I have to be on the right level with the right skills. So I was pushing myself, believing that I will meet those people, and then it's gonna happen somehow. But then I was older, so your mind is changing. And then when I went first time to LA, I was like, wow, this is insane. And the Monsters of Hip Hop, I've seen Monsters of Hip Hop, and I was like, wow, I want to be a part of that. And then 2011, I end up doing that Monsters of Hip Hop, and I was like, wow, so it's possible. So maybe more, So those little things will give me the hope to maybe achieve something bigger. But at some point, I believe that it's gonna happen. One day, it's gonna happen. But it took me a moment to get to that mindset because the first mindset as a kid wasn't there like that.
What was it like the first time you met Dean? And what was
Yeah,
it, and what's it like working on choreography with him, learning his choreography for Janet?
I think that was first time I met him when we did Janet, to be honest. And he's a lovely person. He's amazing person, amazing human being. Very kind, very polite, very chill. But at the same time, like clear with what he wants to achieve with dance and with the movement, by choreography. So it was pleasure. And then he's from UK, so I used to train with UK people. So that kind of movement was close to me at the same time. So I knew how to work with that. But I haven't moved that way for so many years, so I would have to dig it and then just pull myself up and be like, okay, yeah, this is how you move now, find the way. Mhm.
And what was it like? Because I'm assuming you also worked with Gil at some point too, like learning stuff too. So what what's special about Gil? Like I always like asking people like because obviously he's been with Janet forever and we know he's such a talented dancer. Um, and creative director, all that stuff. So what's it like learning from Gil?
The master class. It's the master class. And it's quick. Like this is what you need to do. Boom, 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 boom. You need explanation. I can give you explanation, but do it. But at the same time, yeah, it's his mind. It's genius mind. The way he listens, the way he feels, the way he's connecting. Like the Hawaiian movement, and which is beautiful movement, and then hands, and then hip hop, and then groove, and the rhythms. But at the same time, technical, and then like it's just so many layers. And then if you have so many layers, it's not easy to find the right way, to put that together. And the way he does it is just incredible. So it's genius, So it's the mastermind. And then when you have a little moment of learning that, and you're like, wow, And at the same time, it's not easy because it's different, It's so many layers, as I said before, of dance and years of experience of techniques, like everything putting together when it comes to learning. Like it takes moment for you to step in your head and be like, oh, this is how it works, because it's just it's different, and you understand when you learning that.
Now, I want you to tell us what it was like, you know, dancing and watching Janet dance and like being in rehearsal with her because I'm assuming that you probably had a perception in your brain what Janet was like before you met her and maybe even what she was like as a dancer, as an artist. But then when you were with her in real life, was it the same thing that you thought or was she more than you thought?
I think more. And then at first rehearsals were like very, very calm, and like very smart, I would say, because I like that process. The way the process is very smart. So you're just not killing yourself. You're making sure you know what you're doing. And with that, when it comes to attack, you attack. But when I saw Janet first time on stage and felt her energy, I was like, wow. I was like speechless, and I didn't know what to say, to be honest. I could feel it so strong, and just being honored, to be next to her and then share that energy on stage is just mind blowing. And yeah, it is an honor. So yeah, it's insane. Like the way sometimes she can pull us up and then just say something, and then we're like back to 200. So yeah, I love that, and it's incredible and it's unique.
What do you want the fans to know about Janet when it comes to her fans? Because she, if you've been a longtime follower of Janet, you know she really cares about her fans and she loves them and she appreciates the support. And so, what do you want the fans to know about Janet loving them? Because like I think she really wants to put on the best show possible always.
Always, always. I mean, she's extremely pro, and like it's just it's just gift, It's also incredible that she's been so many years in this world and industry, sharing with the talent, and she never give less. It's never low. It's always as much as you can go, and as much as you have. Like the heart she has for it, and the gift, and then combination of those two, and then also the kindness she has, and the way she is as a human being is just like I never met anyone like that. And then I've heard that before. People were like, if you're gonna meet her and then work for her, it's gonna be hard to go somewhere else, because the way she is just the best artist to work for, and then also incredible human to work for. And then you want to do your best, and then you want to give your 200% because she's so good. So it's just like it's kind of it is inspiring, but it's natural. It's like when you're around her, you're like, wow, I want to be better. I want to give them 200 also, and I want to be kind. I want to be better person. So it's insane, like the way it works. So I could say she's for real that kind as you think she is, and even more. She's incredible. Yeah.
Can you tell us about the experience of you being asked to choreograph? Because I know the boys all got a chance to choreograph songs on the most recent Together Again tour. And so I know you did Throb and you want this. So tell us how you got asked and how did you, like, were you given the songs to do or you got to choose which songs you wanted to do?
Okay. Gil will be the person that will be just say something, be like, the new show is coming and then we gotta do some changes and we don't know how much it's gonna be, which part will stay, which part will go, and then he will be just like, okay guys, we're thinking and all of you will get to two songs to choreograph, and it's something new for them. They never did that. And then for me, it was totally completely new and then out of this world. I was like, this is no way. I'm like, all right, I'm dancing for you, and it's already a lot. And choreograph for you, I'm like, how? So just stressful, but at the same time exciting. And then he would just say us and be like, okay, guys, so what songs, like he will message me and be like, so what songs like you like, or which songs speaks to you? But also he would send a set list and he was like, just choose like few songs that you like and then you feel like you could do them. So I sent few of them. And then one of them was Throb. Um, and then he was like, okay, you can do Throb. And I was like, insane. I was like, I love that song, and then yeah, I just would love to do it. And then the second song, he told me to do it. He was like, and you're gonna do You Want This because it wasn't supposed to be, but we're gonna have that song and we're gonna bring it back. So we're gonna need something to that. I was like, cool. Then when I heard it, well, because I heard the breakdown, because I fell in love with the breakdown, I was like, yes, please. I want to do that song. So it was a really nice process, a very nice process, and uh, wasn't stressful that much. It was just with the good energy, everybody around, and then supportive. So it was just nice to create, and then give something a little bit, of steps.
You talk to us about Throb because that for a fan is a huge song for us, because we got to see her perform that, not only on the Janet tour when the song first came out, but then she did it on Saturday Night Live, and then it was
I
a
love that
huge,
show.
yeah, it was amazing. It was everything about that was amazing. The costumes, everything. But
Yep.
then also in the Velvet Rope, when the HBO special, like that was a huge breakdown for everybody to watch that. So how did you get inspired for it, or did you not watch anything in the past and just come up with stuff like moves?
At first, I tried to not to watch because I didn't want to feel like I do copy of something, but at the same time, so I will create steps first. But it wasn't like I don't like to overthink some of the stuff, and it has to be feeling first for me. So I have to build for myself a moment that I'm like, okay, this is what I'm feeling right now, and then I play the tune, and then I'm just throwing the steps. So somehow I did some of the steps, and I already had the mix, what it's going to be for the show. So I was capable to think which part it should be what. And first as well, Gil told me to use that song for a solo of the dancers, but also create three parts of combo. So that was the first thing. So with that idea, it was less stressful for me to create. I was like, cool, all the boys gonna dance that, so it should be fun, it should be cool. And I was like, I want to make sure the audience gonna feel that. So I just put the steps as the energy and as a feeling. But then Gil saw it, And then Gil was like, we're gonna push that to the first part of the show. So we're gonna include Janet, and then Janet should do some steps as well. And then I was like, oh, okay, so we gotta find a little bit different way to do it. I was like, I got steps. I might change a little of the steps, but we also need to put her into it and then create everything around. And that was the point that I was looking up to the old footage, and then especially the Saturday night show. That was like, I was like insane. So I was like, let me take that feeling, that nasty feeling, and street feeling, but put it into new way of movement, but keep that old school feeling, and then keep the little bit of roughness, you know. I don't want to be too perfect with it. I want to still feel and have space for freedom, but at the same time create that energy that people's gonna feel, and then create a little breakdown that it's gonna be simple, but it's gonna be really in it, and then Janet's gonna be able to do it as well with us.
Were you nervous to show her the choreography, and how did it go when she saw it?
Yes, we were in London and I was nervous, but at the same time, we had so much to do, and then we had to just keep pushing and learning stuff. So we got to that point that we're like, okay, let's go to throw. What is that throw now? Okay, so okay, let's learn it, and then it was just quick process to be honest. But it was stressful, but because you had so much to do, you couldn't be too stressful and think about how stressful you are. You just have to be in it. And then yeah, she's easy to learn. Like she's quick learner. She just like, what is it? Let me see it. Okay, what's the rhythm? Okay, okay, and then she's got it. And then she's just trained with Dean or on her own to make it better. And you're like, wow, like it's crazy that she wants to train my steps. It's like, wow. Yeah, a nice moment, a very nice moment, and lovely process.
Congratulations, because yeah, I was able to see
Thank
the
you,
show in Toronto, and you guys did such a great job, all of you that got to choreograph. So
thank you, thank you, thank you.
actually, I saw you in Toronto. Of course, you know that. So I wanted to ask you too, what was it like? Because you had done the tour in 23 and then the 2.0 this year, and then the residencies coming up, which we'll talk about in just a second. But how much of a mind freak was it for you to go from 23 choreography to then switching up the show for 24? Like, was it hard to get the new show in your head so quickly?
Not really. After like the whole year, over a year dancing with the boys, it became so like you create the energy with the boys, and then all of us just start learning each other, and then see the way we think, and then the way we feel, and then the way we learn. So at this point it was easier and quicker with all of us because we felt each other, and then we were there for each other, and then boys are incredible dancers and artists and human being as well, and all of them have so much to offer. So it's inspiring, and then if you're in the room with those people, you just own it. So after being together for so long, it's just the whole process is becoming easier and more natural and quicker, and it's more a pleasure even. You don't feel like you're dying, and you have like at first it just feels like, okay guys, now like it feels like a team. It feels like we working together, and we going through it together. So it feels amazing. And the second process was much easier.
That's great. Now, can you talk to us a little bit about, so the residency's coming up. Are you guys in rehearsals yet, or you're starting soon?
We starting soon.
Okay. And will it be in Los Angeles that you're training before you go to Vegas, or you're gonna go and train in Vegas?
I think we go there.
Oh yeah, probably to get in the venue and all that stuff, right? So that'll be
Yeah, I think we start rehearsing out there
okay.
right away.
And because you guys have now been off tour like for a couple months since the October or since the show finished off, in October.
Yep.
What was it like? Like, do you guys have like when you guys come back from tour, especially because you did the 23 tour and then you came back in 24. Like, is it hard to get back into real life? Like, do you have like a bit of like sad days coming off tour? Do you miss it?
Yes, you definitely miss it, and it's not even sad. It's just different type of life. So you really have to switch, and then when you on tour for quite long, it's like coming when you're coming back to your life, you're like, wow, I got to do laundry. I gotta think what I'm gonna eat. I don't want to order food every day, so I gotta do grocery and I gotta start cooking. But I'm tired as well, and I need to take a rest and I need to recover my body. But also, I haven't seen people, so you wanna catch up with everybody and then you wanna dance with everybody, but you're tired. So you gotta you're like, wait, what's the life now? What is my decision, you know? Who's gonna order food? Oh, I'm gonna order food. Yeah, yeah. So it's funny, but it is like we just we're making jokes about it, but it is different type of life. And I like to just take my time, recover, quiet myself down, grounded myself. Um, it's not always like that, but it's the good way to do it. And then if you want to keep going, you want to keep going. So there's more stuff coming, and you got to be ready for another stuff coming up. For other jobs or other work.
Yeah, what's it like for you? I have a two-part question about that. When you guys are in front of like whether you're with Janet or another artist, but I'm assuming with Janet it's extra special because her fans are super loyal and super excited and all of that. Um, when you guys perform a show and then get back on the bus or whatever, is it hard to come down from like the adrenaline rush for like the last 2 hours that you've been on? Or like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, because even like you have a sound you're in your ears, so it's just going loud, and then the energy, and then going crazy on stage. Like it takes time to come down and then be able to fall asleep.
Okay. And can you talk to, because you've danced, like, as I said off the top, you've danced with like Taylor Swift, Camila Cabello, Dua Lipa, Ricky Martin, like the list goes on and on. You were with Lisa at the MTV, Music Awards in the fall. Um, are Janet fans different than other fan groups? Like, do you find there's a different energy or?
To be honest, it's hard to tell for me because I haven't experienced other artists so close as the Janet, and I haven't been with them for so long as with Janet. So I didn't get to know how those fans are. But what I can say is it's nice feeling that the fans are so open and they love her and then they love the whole team and then including us, the dancers and creatives, and it's just band and musicians, and like it's a great feeling and warm feeling in your heart, knowing that you're part of that, and then they appreciate you and they appreciate your work, and they see how hard you work. So I would say those fans top, like it's really nice to feel that way. I haven't experienced fans from the other artists that I work for. Maybe one day. But yeah, I don't want to say something, that it won't make sense. So yeah, I can't speak about the other fans.
What is it like too for you to be included in Janet's like life off stage? For example, like when you guys all got to go to the Fashion Week in New York, and you guys were all a part of that and got to experience that. Like, what's that like for you?
It's like a movie. You don't expect things like that to happen, in your life. So I can't remember when she asked us, but there was a day that she was with us chilling, and she was like, "Guys, I was thinking that I'm gonna have New York Fashion Week coming up in September. Would you like to join me?" And we were like, "Is this a question?" It's like, yes, we are. We're like, yeah, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So it was a quick trip, and then it was like 3 days trip to New York. And then we already were off the tour, so it was nice to reconnect and then see each other and then have a little moment and then party and then go to watch the show. So yeah, it's lovely and it feels like family. So yeah, we love those moments. We love those moments.
And when you guys are getting ready to go back to Vegas to get ready for this residency, what's it like when you guys all come together, like the dancers, Janet, the band? Like, what are you looking forward to the most when you guys start rehearsal soon?
Well, I mean, we want to put the best show ever, but we don't know what's gonna be. We're just hoping that it's not going to be too many changes, but of course it's going to be changed. There's, no doubt about that. But hopefully easy change, not too difficult change, or even if it's difficult, not too difficult, you know? We're hoping that we're going to be able to make sure that the show is ready to run, you know? And then we're going to be able to do our best on the first day of the show. It's surprising. I was like, we were talking about that before we start European tour, a European leg. That it feels like, let's say you train for a marathon for like 30 miles run, and then you got to that point that you're doing it and you're capable of doing it, and then you have a 6 weeks off, and then from those 6 weeks you have to jump back into it, to those 30 miles marathon. So like you have to find a way to, you know keep yourself and be ready for that. So sometimes you can surprise yourself and be like, oh, I feel great, I'll be great, I'm good, my body is great, and then you do the first show first time, like even run through full out or like rehearsal full out, and you're like, you're never ready for that show. You're like, oh, okay, again, let me pull again, but I love that, and it's always something to work on, and it's humbling as well. uh you're like, okay, let me push again, let me do my best again, you know
Are you looking forward to the fact that for Vegas, like you'll be in the same venue for the run, like you don't have to be traveling, or do you enjoy like getting on the tour bus, going to a new city, like all that stuff?
Yeah, I like that. I like moving around and then switching places. And it's also addicting, like when you do it for years, it's just addicting to travel and go from places to places and have different audience. I love that. And then also it's always fun with the right people, with the right team. It's always fun to do that. Even when it's tiring, it's a lot of fun, and it's a lot of laughs and beautiful moments that we create, for our, memories. It's nice. I love that.
Do you have a story about anything that like funny or crazy that happened on stage, like while you were touring it, whether it was this one or the 23 tour, like where, I don't know, you fell off stage or somebody's like lost part of their costume or
Yeah, we would lost our costumes. you know. Um, but yeah, there's always like, not always, but there was moments that some things can happen on stage, and then you have to just react. But yeah, we would. I remember on European, like the recent shows, there was a moment that I pulled my tie and that was hanging on one of the snap. So the other step was just jiggle everywhere, and then the whole tie was jiggle everywhere, and then we are dancing in knowledge. So there's a lot of arms in front of your tie. So I was just hoping that I'm not gonna pull it by accident because it already happened. So I was like, okay, what should I do? Should I snap it back, or should I just leave it, or should I pull it back and then throw away? But I was like, I don't want to disturb the dance because the dance is so clear and like strong and clean. So I was looking for the moment, and then at some point I was facing Dario, and Dario could see what's happening with my tie. And then he was like, okay, Roger, that I got you, bro. I was like, yes. So we basically were kept dancing, and then we got to that point that we were on a circle in the middle on stage, and then we were turning back. And then when we turning back, I was like still facing him for a second, and he was facing me. I was like thinking about it very loud. This is the moment. So I grabbed my tie, and right before we turned, I pull it back, and then we facing back, and then he was perfect for it because he was like, he knew what's about, so he grabbed his tie and then he pulled his tie, and then we just threw backstage and then went back to the next formation without ties. And we're like, yes, bro, fuck it. We made it. So, those little moments like are amazing, and then it's the same when Denzel and Guero have those moments, and like it's very inspiring that you can have connection with your opposite, and then you basically can read your like each other on stage, So yeah, those are little funny moments, but at the same time stressful, but at the same time like it makes you think on stage, during when you dance. But yeah, that was Berlin. I think it was the show was in Berlin.
Now, what do you like? Because speaking about the costumes, does when you do you obviously the costumes on this tour are fantastic. Like you guys look amazing, especially the kilts. I love the kilts. Um,
Mhm.
when you try on the different outfits when you guys are getting ready for tour, like do you feel like superheroes when you're putting on this stuff? Does it add to everything to like give you extra energy?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Those outfits, the way they are made for us is just giving you that feeling that you feel special. And then it's time to be on stage and it's time to do your best. So it helps a lot. It helps a lot, I would say. Yeah, I
Do you
love
have
it.
a favorite outfit? Like which one do you like?
I mean, for the last 2 years, I mean, there's a lot of even when we did Kentucky, the orange
Yeah.
outfits from Valentino, they were amazing, and it was just really uncomfortable and a lot of layers, but they looked amazing, and you felt really fresh. It was just really hard to dance for a whole show. But then I used to love a lot the purple suits from Valentina as well. And then Givenchy was cool as well. And then now I think the gray Tom Brown is one of my favorite at the moment. It feels good and it feels different.
Now, I did want to ask you, you and I talked about this just before we started recording the interview. You were with the team obviously when Daniel Jones was the music director and then, sadly passing away. So many of us fans just love Daniel. He brought so much, octane and energy to Janet and to so many other artists that he worked with. What do you want the fans to know about Daniel?
Wow. I mean, he was I could say he was an angel, like you can feel that some people are like as a gift to human, like to the people, to the world, and he was like that. He was full of energy and positive energy, like positive mindset, and just pure love and so much laugh, and always laughing. And then it was just like when you're next to him, you're gonna laugh because it's just so pure, and makes you wanna laugh and makes you wanna smile. So it's amazing because not many people have that naturally, like just want to give to everybody else around. So with him, and then also his mind, and then his mix, like the way he create the whole concert, um, is just it feels amazing and it feels special, the way he created. So he's an incredible person. He was an incredible person, and he always will be. He will stay with us forever. So I'm honored to be around him and then get to know him a little bit. But yeah, like I believe a lot of people like I don't even know how to explain it because when you have the person that gives so much good, around, then is just special human being, and he was one of those people. So yeah, he was incredible, lovely person, incredible energy, always positive, always smiling, always laughing, and supportive.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I know that will mean a lot to the fans. And I don't want to keep you too long. I know you've already given us so much time, but I did have a couple more questions for you. When you were learning choreography, what's the toughest Janet song that you learned, you think, choreography wise?
Rhythm Nation and If.
Okay. And have you met Tina Landon or Anthony Thomas yet?
Anthony Thomas, yes, a long time ago, and I even took a class when he was teaching when he was teaching Rhythm Nation, um, but I still had to learn again from Guetta, and it was different. It was different, but yeah, I had a chance to meet him and was lucky to learn from him, but I never met Tina. And I hopefully one day, I'll be lucky to meet her. But I would love to, and yes,
That's
I would love
amazing. Um,
to.
Also, I wanted to ask you when you guys, the four boys, are dancing and just being a part of the team, who is the class clown out of all of you?
I don't know. Maybe me. I don't know, to be honest. I can be really goofy sometimes. I can be a lot sometimes, but they know me. They know how I am, you know. But everybody is a little bit goofy, and everybody has a good humor and jokes around. So yeah, it's a funny team, you know. We like to laugh. We like to laugh.
Now, I also wanted to ask you too, like, what are you manifesting for you in the next year? Like, obviously, you've got the Janet residency in Vegas. Is there another artist that's on your bucket list that you have either danced for already but want to go out on tour with, or somebody you haven't danced with yet and you want to dance with?
I haven't danced for Chris Brown, and he's on my bucket list. So hopefully one day. But yeah, Chris Brown.
Amazing. That's great. And what was it like dancing with Tate McRae because she's a dancer. Like she's
She's
insane.
amazing. She's insane. Yeah, she's talented. She's very humble. She's very young. She's very strong. She's hard worker. And yeah, it's great. It's fun. It's fresh. It's strong, and it's also feels like new chapter of like pop music, and then someone new who brings a top level, to table. So yeah, she's amazing. Yeah, she's great.
Now, for you, career-wise, like I hope you keep dancing forever. Is there something else you want to get into also, like maybe being a full-time choreographer or a creative director? Like, do you know what you want to do in the next like 5 years?
Well, 5 years is not that much. I still want to keep dancing. So I still want to keep dancing. I want to teach a little bit more in States, because I've been teaching a lot in Europe, but I was always like, let me take a break and then focus being a dancer in States. But at the same time, I want to start teaching a little bit more and sharing with students, and create a little bit more as well. Because I took a break from that too. But I want to get back to those two things a little bit more than the last 2 years for sure. But I still gotta get new visa.
Yeah.
So
Fingers crossed for you. It'll be good. And last question, what message do you have for the fans? Because now, and you've already been a member for a while, but you are like a Janet dancer for life. You will always be a part of the family. You're one of the kids. So what message do you have for the Janet fans who will always support you?
wow. That's not easy. I think I'm not gonna say nothing new probably. Um, but I would say we all gotta, hmm, what words should use? Wait, let me think about the right words. But oh, maybe that. I don't know. I think that the world is kind of complicated and it's becoming really weird place. So I think love and exchange and support each other, and then stay healthy and true to yourself, it's the most important. So yeah, I think that, always love each other, and then help each other, and then stay positive, and then be that person that you will spark the positive energy in the next person. So yeah, we can be the spark of the goodness.
Amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Like, it's just been wonderful. And thank you for doing such a great job dancing with Janet and all the other artists that you work for. You're truly a talented artist.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Kelly, thank you very much.
Don't forget that you can follow Maniek on social media to find out what he's up to, especially, of course, when the Vegas residency kicks off. So that is at Maniek, Artman for real. Maniek, thanks again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was lovely pleasure, and I'm glad it finally happened.
Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.